We start out on this new road. No turning back. But we have our ancestors with us. We're going to continue to dance with them. Dreaming them. Calling them. Being them. We are becoming what we were.
It is part of that Mayan prophecies.
7 triangles of light.
Keep walking. You are the spirit of Unapu. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapu.
People who say that the gods made them from corn. They planned their lives according to the heavens. Well versed in astronomy, using a sophisticated mathematics, they calculated the movements of the night sky thousands of years into the past and thousands of years into the future. They knew that the universe moved in cycles. Their lives were ruled by the rhythms of the natural world. Planting and harvesting, birth and death, just as the great tree of life emerges from the earth.
Always, they're connected. Science and religion.
In dreams, we learn from the Maya gods when to plant and when to harvest, when to set the fire, and when to do the corn ceremony.
What we're digging up, what we're coming up with is part of our history. And the men that lived here are some of the greatest men we've ever had. And it's the fact that we're getting to know more and more and more about the life of these people.
They still maintain their customs. They still maintain their ways of organizing their societies. And it's very exciting to see how much of the ancient Maya way of life is still alive as well.
Because American history does not begin in 1492 with Columbus. It begins in 200 BC with the first Maya king who wrote his name on a stone. What is happening now is the people who made these places, people like Yashpak or Bird Jaguar or Pakal, are getting back their voices. They are becoming real to us and speaking to the people of the 20th century about who built this place and why and what they felt and what they thought about the world. These are not anonymous people anymore.
You are the spirit of Unapu. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapu.
Aho, community. Once again, LA Natives is live Sunday. And so, yeah, if we could lower that real quick, Bondo. Because it's throwing me off. Okay.
Hi, everybody. What happened?
Yeah, because then it'll get like a feedback. It's okay. We're still learning here, guys.
There we go.
So I just want to start with introductions, and to my right.
Oh, hi, everybody. My name is Jenny, also known as Doula Jenny. I am a traditional birth worker for the community of Los Angeles and also Zero of El Vuh's partner for the past 22 years and the life carrier of his 4 children. So it's an honor to be right here representing the Ometeo, the balance between the man and the woman, the yin and the yang. And it's an honor. It's an honor to be here.
And she's an LA native. She's born and raised in Los Angeles.
100%.
My name is Zero.
General Hospital.
I am a music producer. I produced the group El Vuh. I did all their albums. I produced all their beats. And that group was a very powerful group in the movement that really kind of led us to this podcast, you know, and trying to put all the experience that I had as a musician and kind of know what kind of questions to ask our guest here. So why don't you introduce yourselves? Anyone?
My name is Itzcalli Mari. I'm from Los Angeles, specifically Northeast LA, Highland Park. occupy Tongva territory.
Oh.
I was raised Chicana, but my roots are Purepecha and Nawa.
Oh.
Hola, I'm Necalli. I'm a Lakesider. I consider myself Nahua Chicano. I have roots in Cuscatan, known as El Salvador, for all of you who don't know. I'm trying to get more in contact with that culture, still discovering my roots.
What's the name of your group?
The Lakesiders.
Nice. Well, welcome. It's an honor to have you guys here in this podcast.
We can't forget the guy that makes it all happen. My homie, Armando from the Underground Hip Hop blog. Thank you so much, Armando, for facilitating this podcast. And yeah, let's get into it, man. Lakesiders, right?
The Lakesiders, there you go.
I gotta say that that song you guys did, and I don't know the name of it because I don't try to remember that. I try to remember the feeling. It felt original, and that music is old. I haven't felt that from someone playing that genre of music in a while. I've heard other bands try and do it because they're just trying to be nostalgic, but that was from the heart. That was real. It almost felt like you were living in the 40s or 50s and, that song came out. So that's kind of cool to do that in time of now, especially what we're going through as, whatever we're suffering through right now. But what did you think, Jenny?
Of their music. I think your music is really, really interesting. It does take me back to the memories of my mom and dad in the kitchen and that música de amor, and it's such an inspiration to see it coming from such a young youth coming back from that, So watching your video, you're very young in person, but your spirit is very older, and I just really wanted to acknowledge that. And I think that's what shines in your music is your lyrics, your vibration that you sing with your music really hits your heart, and it's very beauty. It's very beautiful, very beautiful. Because you guys are young too, so it's wow, you guys have such great inspiration with music. So where did your music inspiration come from?
I was raised by my great-grandparents. My mom had me at 16. She was finishing up high school. So a lot of the music that I listened to, I grew up listening to, my grandparents' music. And my parents are Chicano, Chicana, so they raised me on oldies also.
Yeah, I was also raised Chicano, so in the Chicano community, we love oldies, you know that? So, it doesn't matter how old you are, we all bump the same music. It's just part of our culture, and, as I grew up, I continued to listen to the music. I never stopped, and that's the music we listen to every day on a daily basis. This is who we are every day.
Well, I have an interesting relationship with oldies because when I grew up, gangs were still active. And a lot of them listened to that kind of music. So when you heard it, you already knew you were already in a place where something can go down, And so growing up, I had a love-hate with it. Obviously, you connect with it because it's a great style of music. But then you remember who's gotten hurt, because they chose a certain life and they associated that life with that type of music. So it wasn't until maybe my 30s where at that time, I think, matured as an artist so I can analyze things a lot more differently and then really fell in love with it. And that's when that's what I'm saying, the type of reaction I got from hearing your song was dope because I hadn't gotten that because you listen to classics for that, I don't even know their names, the oldies guys' names. There's no way to avoid it, being Chicano and not having somebody blasting it all day and all night, And then, my partner here, she loves oldies. And so she'll start to play them, just randomly, just play it. And the next thing you know, I'm wow. I just sit back and wonder what it was like maybe growing up in that time because that time was pretty special, for Chicanos because when they migrated from the Texas area during that time, a lot of people, you'll notice that their parents are all yeah, I'm from Texas, and oh, that's weird. You're from Texas. Everybody's kind of from Texas because the migration happened, I think at the end of I'm not a historian, but at the end of the Mexican-American War, everybody left that poverty or whatever destruction happened, and they came to the new cities, right? Like a lot of people don't know that Los Angeles. You know what the first street in Los Angeles is?
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
No, it's okay. It's okay to be wrong. That's
Senora.
a great thing.
Isn't it a long
Chapula
name?
Street, is it? No.
No.
It's Olvera Street.
Olvera
Street.
Street. But the full name was like La Nuestra Señora de Los Angeles.
I'm sure it had a
something like
different
that.
name, but
Yeah.
what I meant to say was that the
Olvera
foundation
Street.
of Los Angeles is Olvera Street, and that's very indigenous, Mexican, whatever you want to call it,
That was our meetup spot.
right?
Yeah, that's
when
where we
first
met.
That is
Yeah.
so dope.
Special, very special place to us.
Very special.
They told me a story about a tree that used to be in Los Angeles that all the natives used to come to, and I have a feeling that it's in that area, you know, because there's a lot of things that happen on that street. There's a burial site on that street. They murdered a lot of indigenous people for the land on that street. So that street is very close to us and is the foundation of Los Angeles. So let's get that clear, you know, with that. And that's not no surprise that a music that came out of these barrios, right, of East Los Angeles, you know, made an impact on people from like Japan. I mean, the oldies market is not just East LA. Yeah. It's like it's not even here, actually, to tell you the truth. There's not a scene or a store that just dedicates itself to it, right?
To oldies?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like where you go, oh, that's where I go to get the oldies. I mean, you guys are doing something unique in a way where you guys chose a genre of music that's not even popular to per se. Right? Doesn't mean it's not good. It just means it's not popular. You didn't decide to do it in a certain way that was going to catch the mainstream or any of that. But look at how much success. Talk a little bit about your success. What you guys have done? I mean, your pages are off the chart.
Thanks. I mean, we only have one original song out on YouTube as of now. So,
What's the name of the song?
Parachute by the Lakesiders.
And it's got massive amounts of views. It's well composed. And you guys have future songs that you're going to release?
Yeah, we have a couple coming up. We're really excited about it.
Nice.
Are you guys working on something right now or no? Something's already in the making?
Yeah, something's coming up pretty soon.
I think your fan
the
base is
Lakesiders,
waiting
right?
for you
Yeah,
guys.
they've been waiting.
It's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And the project is the Lakesider. That's
Yeah,
the project that's going
the
to come up.
Lakesiders,
Right.
yeah.
So it's going to be an EP or a single or
45.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah, we did a collaboration with our friends from Mango Hill, and they're like an independent record label. They're
Yeah,
gonna
cool
put out
friends.
2 songs that we just wrote recently. It's really cool.
Wow. So you're going to have a limited amount on those 45s?
I think we're just gonna have like promotional, like little things here and there.
Okay. And then you're going to release it obviously on the digital networks like Spotify.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff
I'm
like
sure they are.
and the streaming and all that. Yeah, I mean, what other than, you know, obviously growing up in the household of a Chicano household or a household that played oldies, what else did it? What else connected you to say, I want to sing like that. I want to play music like that.
No, it's a very small group of friends that we have that I think, like you said, we're just old souls. And this is just the way we live. This is our lifestyle. And ever since I was in high school, which is actually where the name the Lakesiders come from, I went to Lakeside High. But I'll always write doo-wops in my head just for fun, never thinking it would get anywhere. And that's what I would do. I just love the music. And I moved to LA, and that's when I met her. And she saw that I was writing these little songs, and she liked the music too. And like we were like, wow, we like the same music. That's really cool. And she saw that I was writing music, and then we formed this little band.
I bought him a guitar for his birthday, one of his birthdays. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, it was
So
for
that's
my
what
birthday.
started our
I love
band.
it.
Yeah.
That female energy, you know, it's like the female's purpose in life is to really push the man to their full potential.
Oh,
You
definitely.
know,
And I feel that's what
sometimes those
happened.
are dark moments, but believe me, we're here to just guide you guys through that moment. You
Definitely.
know, and that all comes down from from your mother or your great grandmother, and then now to your business partner, your life partner, or whatever that is. You know, so it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
If it wasn't for her, I probably would have never thought of doing music.
Wow.
Honestly.
So then you weren't in a band before. You didn't. You guys met and you guys became a band.
Well, she was doing her own little show. She was She was already a musician. I was just a songwriter. just for fun. And I don't know, she just encouraged me. She bought me that guitar and she's like, you know, I have faith in your songwriting. And I was like,
Wait till you hear him sing. He's got a good voice too.
yeah, she pushes me, and I really appreciate
Sample.
Will it be on one of the new projects?
Yeah,
One of
definitely.
the songs?
Yeah.
One of the songs
In the
has
near
your
future.
voice?
that. Well, I mean, I have background vocals so far on Parachute. I'm on the background vocals. On these coming songs, I might have some background vocals. But I'm trying to get a step out of my comfort zone, and maybe you guys will hear me sing pretty soon.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's always a development. I mean, getting up in front of people or sharing an intimate thought or experience is not easy. So take your time. Obviously, you have somebody who encourages you in that good way, and just continue to do it. And take your time, man. There's no rush to doing all this stuff. Like, I think with my experience in music, it never led to a major recording contract, but I learned a lot. I learned how to tour. I learned how to do it by myself. I learned how to book graphic designers. And what I'm trying to say is that once you know all those steps, then you pretty much have more cards to play with someone when they say, I want to release your music, right? Because if you're ignorant to those things, that's where people get taken advantage of, because you don't know how much those things cost, or you don't know how to prepare that for yourself. So just take your time. You have a whole lifetime. You guys are so young and so full of life and energy to do this. Don't let the business of it destroy you, because it will. For me, it was like I never got the corporate contract. But then and I analyzed my music. Why would they do that? Why would any contract person want to release a message that's being given to the majority of people that live on this side of the coast, and tell them to organize, and tell them to be proud of who they are, and tell them to utilize their indigenous past? These are the obstacles that we face when we decide to reclaim our true self. And so with the name Itzcalli, you're doing that in the next generation. What motivates you to do that?
To claim my name.
Yeah, claim the name Itzcalli and apply it, because you said Tasocamatli, and you say a lot of things that are indigenous, and some people are shy about that. Some people don't even want to be a part of it and associate. We said one day, me and my partner and the generation that we come from, said we're going to be like that every day.
This
and
is
you're
our
the
way of
second
life.
wave of that. What is your inspiration to keep going?
I think a lot of it has to do with like understanding my personal role in healing intergenerational trauma. There's a lot of self-hatred within like certain relatives in the family who are very far removed from their indigeneity, but that's just how deep colonialism runs, And with Itzcalli alone, the name, like I'm going to be representing who I am. I'm going to be representing my family, and it's in the name itself, So people are going to get curious about where it comes from, and then the rest will follow, I think.
Can you share what your name means for the world?
Oh, Itzcalli is obsidian house.
To add to what she was saying is like, you have your thoughts in your head, like, oh, like people aren't gonna be able to pronounce their names, but then like we tell ourselves like people are gonna have to learn how to pronounce their names, because that's important to us. And like people try to go around it, call us different names, but no, they're gonna have to learn how to pronounce their names because this is who we are,
And that's what we have to bring back,
Exactly.
We have, again, we have 4 children together, and all our children are named traditionally through their Nahuatl name. We don't name our children until they're born, and we go the traditional route with Totonalama and everything. And just yesterday, my son just told me that when he orders or when he meets new people, he doesn't tell them his real name, which his real name is Sholot. And he's all like, yeah, and I'm like, Sholot, I can't believe you do that. What name do you tell him? He's like, I just tell him my name's Ruben. And that's his name. So that really shocked me, So it's crazy how, we raised our children Red Road. They've gone through the sweat lodges since they were in the womb, basically. Every month they've been in the sweat lodge since the womb. And it's crazy how this next generation has the option whether to continue these traditions and not to continue them, you know? And I think that's what my partner's saying is we want to honor that, you know? You're like, no, my name is Itzcalli, you know, and that's it, you know? And, you know, you acknowledging that as well, you know, like when people mispronounce these names, you know? So it's beautiful.
I mean, it's exactly what brother was saying is that, you know, you're going to find a road. It's kind of like the Richie Valens thing. Where you're like, oh, you're Richie, Richie Valens, and that, you know, that whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. But, you know, some people are very, how can I say this? They don't care. They don't care about the depth of what you're using your art. They're going, how can I make money off of this? Yeah. How can I make money off of this? And this sounds funny. This sounds close like to something that's inappropriate or something that sounds negative. An example would be when you go into a store and you ask somebody for something and you go, thanks, and the person that works at the store says, no worries, they tell them, don't say that because it's negative. No is negative and worries is negative. So you're using two negative verbs, right? So they can push you into that category where it's like, oh man, no one's gonna really understand or say it. It's gonna have a hard time. You know, we should be this, you know? And it's some generic, easy to say. But you know what they really don't tell you is that once a name is suggested, say for instance, you have Obsidian House as your thing, and I'm your manager, right? I need to get in on that. Right now, it's your intellectual property, your solo intellectual property, but I want to work for you. So I need to get in on that. And what do I mean by that? Well, I need to make money off of that. So let me try to put my 2 cents in. Let me try to say this and that. And then now you're stuck with something where they own that name. You know what I mean? And you can't get away from it because you spent 20, 15 years trying to build something to that name. So stand strong to what your partner was saying in the sense that they're going to have to learn our name. You want to know why? Because we're dope. They have to learn our name. If not, then don't listen to us. And that takes bravery. That takes bravery. And that's my question. What motivates it? What makes you say, no, I'm going to do this? Do you feel like it's the time? Do you feel like it's accepted by others? Or are you just blindly going, I don't care, I'm just going to be this?
I don't think there's like a division between who we are and like our music. So like just keeping that name alive is, it doesn't separate us, you know?
I also feel like we owe it to our ancestors, you know? Yeah. And also, Itzcalli and I have never really been about fame or the money. We've just been doing this because we genuinely love it, you know? And I think people see that, and we're not going to change for anything, you know? If they're telling us, you know, it's easier to just have this name or easier to be like this, you get more followers, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to us. We're just going to be who we are regardless.
And that's cool because, you know, usually have a hip-hop artist say something like that, some sort of an activist say something like that. And it's a revolutionary act to go, I'm going to do myself using these. Because you got to think, brothers, sisters, community out there, when you reclaim indigenous livelihood to your life, you're bringing back a scar for other people. They don't want to think about them hurting you because they're not that generation. They're the generation that that cashed out on it. So then now they're nice and they have a nice home and they don't have to go rape or take anybody's land anymore. So now they want to be friends, right? And then you're trying to say, well, but I'm from this culture. Well, wait a minute. Oh, well, that's too much. What do you mean we raped you guys? What do you mean we took your land? What do you mean you're a generation, or you're a, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, we're children. We were the leftover children from war that happened 500 years ago. That's why we have sometimes dysfunctional parents. Because who taught them? Where was the abuelo that had all that medicine and knew how to calm you down mentally and knew how to make you a tea or knew how to do whatever he needed to do because he loved you? what my partner does for our family. We don't have it. So you're the next wave of it. We started it. Not started it like the whole thing, but we bought into that idea of loving yourself, loving your identity, and searching within that identity, not just knowing it. Because that's what happened in the Chicano movement. Once we found out we were Aztec, that was it. Oh, damn, but tell me, break it down. Some people went down the rabbit hole. Some. But others were content with just knowing that they came from a place that had pride, a place of great wisdom. But what was that wisdom? And how does it apply to you as a human? And that's why me and my partner decided to name our children Nahuatl names using the Tonalamat. Everyone can learn how to do that. You just got to search it.
Or just ask.
The math does not change just because a white man came and colonized this land. The math continues to go. Whether you understand it and know how it works is up to you. And don't look for it in a book.
Comes from within.
Comes from within.
That's beautiful.
It reminds me of one of your poems, Ruben, if you can recite it really fast. I come from a place that you can't see.
Well, I come from a place where you can't see. Lokenawake, I represent my ancestry, and the depth of my mind is a mystery. A warrior, a time rewriting history. In Xochitl, in Cuicat, in Nemi Mexicas, these are the words that come from my heart. These are the words that display my art. I'm bringing back the ways that were torn apart.
That's exactly what you guys are doing.
Beautiful.
Appreciate that.
And when you can do that, obviously I do that this way, but when you do it in an oldie, and when you do it about love, it makes you...
It hits home. It hits you in a different form. You know, it's like that was beautiful. Your poetry is beautiful, paints an image, and then you guys paint a whole other image of that love, that Sunday breeze, that time of calmness, you know, that time that we didn't have to be in war, that time that we were just able to enjoy life, you know.
And that was the second wave of our evolution as Chicanos. We had kids that didn't have to go through that poverty and no shoes and racism. They felt racism, but at least they had pants and shoes, and they went to schools, right? I'm talking about the Chicano movement that really brought us to the identity. But they also suffered for being zoot suiters and for liking that music, because that's the way they used to find them. When it was loud, boom, that's where they are. And it's a lot of them. And so I'm sure you're familiar with the riots, right? The
sailor riots.
The sailor riots, right?
Because the zoot suiters weren't the ones rioting; it was the sailors.
Absolutely. And what were they doing? You want to break it down for our audience here? I don't want to put you on the spot.
We were just being ourselves. They just didn't like us.
Well, the sailors. There used to be a navy or some sort of army base there, and they would ride into our neighborhoods and beat us up because we dressed funny.
It was a very anti-American way to dress.
Absolutely.
Very bold.
Yeah.
And they didn't like it. They actually they made it illegal.
Well, I mean, that's another step. That's another chapter of our story, because you think, okay, wow, they were just really unfair, and they used to come up and gang on and beat up on us. And that's how the gang started, is that Zoo cliques would click up and go, nah, they're coming, and they come around this time, and they come around this day, so let's all get together. Yep. You know, and boom, and they would protect themselves, right? And this is a long time ago, so, I mean, this is just a short history lesson into how we've developed as a people. So they use that to give us an incarcerated culture. Because people during that time would be arrested for almost nothing. Yeah. I mean, walking in the wrong neighborhood, or you're and your friends are hanging out in a corner and someone's getting drunk on the next corner, and you get busted for that.
Not only arrested, but humiliated. They would beat them and strip them of their clothes in public.
So when I hear oldies, that's what I hear. I hear that pain. I hear what it was like for that teenager. And to hear it in such a youthful voice, I guess we can't ever forget that story as Chicanos or as indigenous people, because a lot of that Zoot time kind of started leading us to back home, right? Starting remembering where we came from and the origins of Mexico. Because when you can't look at Mexico without looking at pyramids and that culture, and that's who we are. That's our main root, right? So when I hear the oldies and I start thinking about those riots and what it was like, because it wasn't just one day. Those riots culminated because many days of that happened, right? And then realizing that the the police department recruited from very outside of the state to create the police force that policed Los Angeles during that time. So there was a lot of racism,
Yeah, deeply rooted racism.
right?
It was almost like a modern wave of us fighting against colonizers again, you know. History
All
repeats
over
itself.
again,
Absolutely. And many people are bringing up that subject, you know, so that when you associate, it's not just associating the cholo, right? And other people have talked about this, with just somebody who's in incarcerated culture, right? Because there was a step to that. They had a plan, because people of Los Angeles said, man, they're everywhere. What are we gonna do with them? And they're having kids, and they're having a lot of kids, and they're bringing more. So what did they do? They went, well, we need to lock them up. And that's how I came up in the generation where if your uncle, your cousin, somebody in your family was somebody who went in and out of jail, and they liked it. They'd rather be in jail than outside. They called being outside on vacation, and they called jail home. That's the culture I'm talking about. But think about it. What generation happened before? The Zoot culture.
Pachuquismo isn't like specific to gang culture. It's working class culture. And a lot of our people were hardworking people. That's how we got the trajes, you know.
Good point.
Got the good threads.
Well, what I'm trying to say, though, is that working class culture could afford, because they were really mimicking the African Americans. The
hep cats.
Yeah, the hep cats who wore oversized suits, and they were like, wow, that's kind of like us, you know, where we're like, oh, those guys here, they're wearing baggy pants. Well, let's wear baggy pants too, because we're hip hop, you know what I mean? And we're just kind of like copying each other. But you have a good point. It is working class culture, because like I told you, we came to a generation where we were actually enjoying things, right? Like, whoa, we can go to the beach. Yeah, it kind of sucked because there was people that were racist there, but at least we can go to the beach, right? And we had a car to go there. And we had decent clothes. We weren't like all raggedy like my grandparents came when they came from that journey. So them hooking up to defend themselves gave them a reason to incarcerate them. Once they became incarcerated, they introduced drugs.
Exactly.
And that's when the culture started to happen, right? Because even in the Cholo culture, you're still in a working class family. You know, you still have a house, right? You still have your room, and mom usually works, or sometimes both parents work, you know, but they work very long hours, and they don't have time to supervise what you're doing. But what I'm trying to plant the seed in is that there's a reason why the stepping stones for people like us don't get to where they need to get to, because of those type of people that established themselves here in this land. And in this podcast, we're going to go over the history of that. Not to point fingers, not to be mean or anything, but factual things that happened. This is not made up. We need to know the story of what happened. And when you sing songs like that, we start asking those questions again. We start going, well, man, because I know a brother who spent 5 years, a thesis on this, and he always talks to me about it. So I kind of know a little bit about the history of the incarcerating of our culture, right? Because we came by the masses here to this area. And you represent that. So, no, I guess you obviously do know, because he's stated with your name and how proud you guys are of being indigenous, you know. And So will we expect like Nahuatl words in these oldies songs that are gonna come up?
Yes.
Nice.
Definitely.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes.
Trying to get some Cuscateca Nahuatl words too from Cuscatlan. Cuscatan.
So the community is actually asking if they'll be performing.
Here.
Yes. Armando, that's on Armando.
Us?
Yeah, and did you bring a guitar? No, I don't think they brought a guitar.
Armando.
So
Yeah, we're also going to be performing here and other places as well.
okay.
In
Well,
the
no,
near
I think
future.
she meant like
today, right now.
Like people are asking you to play a song.
Our live chat is asking if you guys
I didn't even go there because I didn't see a
yeah,
guitar,
bring
but if I saw a guitar, I would be totally doing it. But and that's a cool thing about this show, though, is like we haven't really focused on the music side of things, but we're getting into the heart of it.
Yeah, I
right.
like that. Yeah.
And then they already know the handles of where to go and find your music and see your music. But we got to be, like I said, we're still new. We're still structuring ourselves. Yeah.
Next time we'll bring a guitar.
There you go. There you go. It's all good. No pressure. No pressure. I really wanted to I was really excited just to talk to individuals who were inspired by that music. And now, man, to use Nahuatl words in there, to find melodies with those things, I mean, that to me is like ancient poetry.
That's taking it to a whole nother level. I don't think there's a genre out there for Nahuatl oldies. Is there Nahuatl oldies?
There's about to be.
Yeah, exactly. But as of right now, no.
Lakesiders, the Lakesiders.
One of our next projects we're working on is going to have some Nahuatl words in it.
Nice.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
So yeah, El 40 Water put Nahuatl with oldies, amazing, yo. So people are really liking it. Live feed. We got 22 viewers right now. We appreciate you guys all out there.
Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying this conversation we're having with the Lakesiders. Two very talented musicians. And Itzcalli, you have a very beautiful voice.
Asukamate.
Yes. I'm excited for your guys' new music and all the success it's going to bring, and knowing that we're talking to artists that are going to be on the same page, right? Of just, a lot of people go like, oh yeah, the revolution, and we got to get our land back and this and that. And it's more about just reclaiming yourself. Reclaim yourself in a good way, right? Then you connect with the earth, and then no one has to give you anything. You're already there. And if you've always walked that way, then no matter what borders are imposed or what laws are passed, only you are responsible for the connection that you have on this tierra. So, I mean, it's awesome to because we're talking to an oldies group, but it still has like a lot of resistance in it. Like I see a lot of
I think that's just in our culture in general. I think any genre of music that comes out of Boyle Heights is going to have some resistance to it. And I think that's what we represent as LA natives. It's like whether we're oldies, hip hop, reggae, old school dub music, whatever this is, there has to be resilience. This is our gente, We are that semilla that grew out of.
So are in the topics of your music, the new music that will be released, is there anything, is it all just basically like love songs, or is it going to be some political undertones?
Definitely political undertones, especially with this next song coming out. That's going to be featured on Snoop Dogg's new album. He's going to do a lowrider album, and he reached out to us recently. So we can take part in it, yeah.
Did you guys just hear that?
Congratulations. Congratulations. And so what's the topic, without giving away too much if we can? Like, what did you mean by, like, having, like, I guess more of a political voice? Like, are you talking specifically about a specific topic, or is it just general?
I don't know how much I can give away.
Oh, okay.
She's like, I signed an NDA. I have to review my contract, see how much I can share here. But that's amazing. So you guys will actually be featured on his song, or you guys?
Yeah, on his album.
This whole album. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
and when does that come out?
Sometime I'm guessing early next year. Yeah.
Wow.
So how do you feel with working with someone of that stature and success?
It was really surprising when he reached out to us, but it was really cool to see how humble he was. Like, we met him in person, we got to go to his studio, and he greeted us with a hug. Like, he was very warm and welcoming, and he was really excited to get to know us. And he talks to us from his personal phone, which is really funny, because I would think that you'd communicate with somebody who, like, globally recognized, like, through a representative or something. But he'll FaceTime me, and I'll be, like, in my chongo and my PJs. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. Yeah, but
Do I
he's
have
real cool.
Snoop Dogg on
He's
FaceTime
down
right now?
He's very down to earth.
Yeah, Snoop is a real deal.
Yeah, he's real.
Did you know that, Armando? Did you know they're about to come out with a song with Snoop Dogg? You just know how to line them right up.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we didn't know that Taboo was going to release that monster mega hit like 2
At
days
all.
before he came on our show. And now, we got another aspiring stars here that are going to release songs with legends in Los Angeles music
We had no
scene.
idea Somali was, working with Taboo or, something
what?
of that sort,
That's news to
because
me.
Taboo's all up in his
That's
page
cool.
now. So this podcast is definitely bringing, blessing everybody. You guys are coming with some blessings.
We love the native hip hop community. Our hermanos from Cosmic Force, they've always been super supportive. Shout out to them. And Azomali.
cool.
Yeah, they're real close to us.
What's weird is that, Jag used to know my niece.
Oh, what?
Right.
Small world.
And I guess they were like talking one day and he's like, you know how Jack is. Jack could be very like straight. I don't know how to say it, but he's very straightforward, I guess is the best way to say it. And he's like, you could tell that he's like, no, I don't listen to regular hip hop. That's my niece is telling me the story. So I don't really listen to regular hip hop. I listen to groups like El Vuh. And like I guess maybe he expected that she wouldn't know it, but then she told me, oh yeah, that's my uncle. He was like, what? For real, it's all cool. And then so that was an interesting story that Jack told me. He's like, yeah, I knew about your music before I met your niece. And I went, oh, that's interesting. Because, we weren't like commercially known. I mean, you had to really dig in the crates for El Vuh records or anything like that. But it's cool that those, Azomatli and Cosmic Force, because like I said, this is the next wave of it, right? And now you have, you guys with the traditional oldies music. I know what it's like because, one of my first roots in music was Quinto Sol, the reggae band. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we grew up together. We kind of formed the foundation of that band, but we all evolve as musicians and stuff like that. So, but it's kind of cool that your story starts and stops, right? In oldies, right? You never really were into other bands Oh, you said you were a musician, right? You had another project?
I was like a background singer, and
Oh.
throughout school, high school, I used to perform
Oh, I
for
see.
like an elective.
I see. And then you guys just said, let's do it together. And here we go. And Snoop Dogg calls you and says, do a song.
Yeah, he asked for a song. We wrote him one.
Yeah, wrote it from scratch.
How did
Make sure you
how
get
did
paid
that
for that
connection
one at
happen, though? I mean,
least.
how did he hear you, or how was that?
So the
How
story
did that
goes.
come about?
Before he sent out like a search party on Instagram, but before that, I wasn't at my phone, and when I went to go check it, I got a missed text, and it said, "Hey, it's Snoop. Can I call you?" And I was like, "Who's this? It's like a prank or something." So then I opened my Instagram page, and like everybody's like, "Te buscan, he's looking for you," and so I was like, "Yeah, give me a call," and he just like right off the bat was like, "I like your style, Chicana lowrider style. I really want you on my new album because he's gonna put out a lowrider album early next year." So that's really cool.
Well, that's cool. And I know that not only does that obviously pay because, I mean, he's that type of artist, but that'll suck if he didn't. But, I mean,
Again, it's
after
not
that
about the
song,
payment.
after that song, I mean, I just don't like, I come from the school of like, don't take advantage of artists, man. Like, just don't do that. It sucks. Armando is the only guy that really showed El Vuh respect. Like, he really said, you guys are just talented and you guys deserve this type of, even when he just offered us a gig, it was all professionally done. That to me is like showing the respect. But there's other people that'll take advantage of you, and we got a lot of, when we played with big names like the RZA and people like that, those were hard doors to open. And we can't say that we didn't get taken advantage of when we did it.
The cool thing about Snoop, he's giving us like total creative freedom.
Sweet.
Yeah, he was just like, whatever you guys have, I want.
Because he's
feature.
smart. He's
Yeah.
smart. He knows that there's a humongous is what we're talking about. People will reach out to all of us or anybody who they feel like they go, oh, look, it opens up a door to the lowrider scene. That's a huge, huge, huge market, not only in California, but in Texas and wherever. There's a huge lowrider scene. I'm not saying that it's a negative thing. I'm just saying treat the artist with respect. So I'll always advocate for you guys and know that you guys get whatever you deserve. Don't let no one like try to, take advantage of that, because I know what it feels like. You know what I mean? Because you guys have something good. Snoop Dogg doesn't call you if you don't have something good. I mean, and original. And that's hard to do because, dang, the oldies were a long time ago, and you're coming with an original sound and now taking it artistically to the ancestors. And hopefully they hear your songs,
They're hearing them.
No, I think they are. You guys are super talented. Super talented. And are you going to shoot videos for these songs?
I want to, yeah.
Yeah?
I have.
For this, did Snoop Dogg offer a video? Or is it just kind of like a single on his project?
I'm pretty sure, like, once the song is out and finalized, he was talking about, like, anything financially, he'll cover, like, a video or something, so.
Oh,
we have a
because
good
you're gonna get a good video from that dude. I mean, you're gonna get the whole nine.
And what we have in mind is really simple. So.
That's cool.
And anything we really do is simple. It doesn't require a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, your first video is very simple. Was that in the LA River?
Yeah.
Yeah, very simple, black
wasn't
and
planned.
white, simple. And was that all just shot in one day? The first,
Like an hour.
How
in
many
an
views?
hour.
How many views does that video have? Have you
We
checked
haven't
it out?
checked up on it.
Do you remember, Ruben? I think
It's
it
a
was
lot. It's like
yeah.
a million, right? Isn't
No,
it? Or
I don't think so.
100,000.
Do you
Something
know
like that.
Armando?
5 million going to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Million? 5 million?
I think so. You can double check on.
That's dope. See, I'm proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, like,
artistic
that's
pool, man.
hardcore,
And to do it just like in your first song. That's like
In
your
one
first song,
song.
right?
Yeah, that is our.
That was
the only
first
song?
original
I mean,
release.
dude, I got like 3 videos on YouTube. I'm not even close to that, But that shows you that
She said, "Oh,
No, I love your videos. No, it's just the way you said it.
no, you know what? I've
quiere
come to-
llorar, quiere no."
No. I know. You know what's cool about what I did is that I've always wanted to make a record that would last time, a span of time, right? And so I said this story on last week's podcast where I had this young kid. He had to be 18, 19 years old who was into certain songs. And I go, well, man, you must have been barely born, if not. Because we released Jaguar Prophecies in 2002. So that's,
Respect.
yeah. And people still listen to that record. They still have interest in this record. I have a podcast because of that record.
Armando is our walking proof of how long you've been doing this for, Armando. Armando, how old were you when you first heard El Vuh?
16 years old. So, I mean, see, that's the type of thing, making a connection with Armando. He was 16, and I released that record, and now we have this podcast, and we're sharing our platform with people in a non-pressure way, in a non-corporate way. This is about the message. Beautiful. This is about your art. Say what you need to say. This is not going to be like, oh, let's edit that out. No. I mean, because it's time. It's time, like, to see you guys have so much pride in putting out music that's going to represent a dead culture, right? Because that culture's not here anymore.
What are you talking? Oldies is that? Or?
No, I'm talking about like their identity, who they're. Because I know when they come out with the video, it's going to have a lot of undertones of indigenous stuff. That's easy to guess, right? Because you're telling us that this is who you are. But I had a similar experience in the sense when I went to Mexico to do the video for Ciudad Celestial. I interviewed with a newspaper there, and they said, "Why are you coming to Mexico? Like, this is weird. You're from Los Angeles, and you're coming to Mexico to release the song?" And they thought that was weird because you want to release it here. This is the mega platform for everything. And they thought it was weird that we went to Mexico to release the song. And I said, and I told the lady, I was like, we're not trying to be popular. This is this is prophecy, man. Like we felt like, nah, this is,
Yeah.
2012, and we got to do this and put it all in there. And when we went to the Sweat Lodge and when we said those prayers and when we participated with the Peace and Dignity Run and when we did all these things ceremoniously, that was the infusion of our music. So I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that corporate people didn't find that marketable or whatever, right? But my music still lives. My music still gets listened to, and it's getting more popular now than it was during the era of comfort, right? Because that was we released during Obama era. Everybody was cool. It was like, what are you talking about? There ain't no racism in the world.
Yeah.
There's a black president,
Oh, I feel you on that. To add to that, though, what you're saying is like, we never really cared about, like I said, views or any of that, but to have a lasting impact, like to make a song that's gonna live in the body of, like, far after we're gone. Like, that's really our goal. Like, you hear Angel Baby and that you, like, instantly you're like, man, that warms your heart. That's a song from the barrio, And our goal has always been to just make, even if we made one song like that could have that lasting effect, that would mean the world to us, not 5 million views or how many views. But if we can make that one song and people could just bump and cruise to, man, that'll make our dreams come true.
I think the fire has already been lit, honestly, for
You're
you
way
guys
on
to
that.
say, like for you guys, let's not talk about the numbers, but think about how many hearts you guys have reached. You guys have reached 5.6 million. Somebody just let me know on our chat room. Thank you very much, the chat room.
Thank you.
5.6 million views. The fire has already been lit, you guys. Now you guys are on to your next level, and we are honored to have you guys here before that Snoop Dogg song comes out.
Thank you.
But, always remember your roots and always remember your corazón, and that fire is lit.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a very beautiful comment from Rosie Hamlin's daughter, the Angel Baby. She sung Angel Baby. Her daughter commented on one of our videos.
Wow.
It was just an honor, really. That was like the most beautiful comment.
Yeah.
What did she say?
That she loved it pretty much, and
That we did the song justice. It was Lonely Blue Nights cover.
Yeah.
The one with us, just with 2 little guitars.
just having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say Angel Baby, I mean, it's almost universal.
Yeah.
And so that's a hard song to kind of even sing.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
That's our
me
top
about it.
requested song.
That's our top
so
requested
It might be coming
song.
up next.
right. I mean, it's like,
Like
that's
next,
a
do you
hard
mean by
song
like
to
the next
sing.
couple of minutes next? Or like no guitar needed? Because again, your voice is very beautiful. So we have a good little 27 viewers that are.
Oh, wow, we went up.
Yeah, we
27.
super went up, So if it feels,
Well,
if
see,
you
that
feel
tells-
it
that
in your
shows-
heart to sing anything, feel free.
That shows you the support you guys have.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's a lot of people live watching this interview and trying to get a piece and extract a piece of your intimacy, right? Your privacy, right?
Yeah.
Like, because we're here and we're talking about whatever topics that we decided to talk about. Like I was telling you early before we start this interview, some people are very different about it, And I just want to say thank you for being so open and also and so natural too, because this isn't about how dope you are. We already know you're dope. That's why you're on the podcast.
Yeah, we're having a really good time here.
We're honored to be some of your first guests, too, on your growing podcast. It's an honor. Thank you for having us.
And also
welcome.
to all the
Welcome,
community
Ellie.
that came from the Lakesiders. Thank you for joining our network and welcome home, because that's what we're trying to build here in the Alley Natives community. Is these are the people that we need to go listen to. These are people we need to buy the shirt from. This is the people. Organize it in a way that doesn't need anyone to dominate or be the CEO or have that kind of structure. We're just here because we're a familia and we always come, and it's nice when the Eastsiders, the Lakesiders come, and it's nice when Azomali comes and everybody else, because we're all one familia.
And we're all friends too.
Yeah, we're real cool.
Jag and Threat, man, we've been on the front lines together, so
Yeah.
we love all of you.
Right on.
Family.
Shout out to those guys, man. They work really hard on their music.
They
and-
really do. It's really impressive.
Yeah, they're super professional.
Yeah, definitely.
So, is there any questions out there they want to ask them?
Questions?
Ghetto Palm Sound just put, I love what you guys are doing. Much love. Sub 1 put, any music with the censors coming soon?
Yeah, we're doing the collaboration in the Mango Hill record.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys
That's
are
actually
so
going to be
cool.
on Snoop's album. They're
Yeah.
helping us with that.
Really excited about that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
You hear
good,
that?
really
Sip
good
one?
guys. Jason, Joshua, you know,
It's cool to work
all
with
the-
other Chicanos too.
the Sinceres,
I
all good,
understand.
good people.
Those are the engineers or composers?
They're a band called The Sinceres. They're from East LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they also Joey Quinones. He also
Yeah,
he produces.
Oh, okay.
engineers.
So
That
he's
guy's-
helping produce the.
Yeah, that guy's
like a
genius.
mastermind.
Genius.
Yeah. It's
Can
really
you
cool to
guys
work with them.
can you guys maybe share, like, you know how Ruben was saying that you don't know some of the names, you know, can you guys possibly share some of the bands that influenced you guys?
Oh, like from
that's
back in
fun.
the day.
Yeah, way back in the day. Because you guys are both from, you know, the Boyle Heights area, and there's so many bands that came out of that area on top of, you know, all the traditional oldie bands. So what inspired your guys' music?
As far as primarily indigenous artists, Richie Valens for sure.
Richie Valens, #1.
Oh, I like that you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was indigenous.
Yaki.
Yep, Yaki. Rosie Hamlin, of course. Rosie and the
Rosie.
Originals.
Chicana.
You know, we listen to mostly the bands that influence our Chicana bands, you know. A lot of them are underground, but like the Carlos Brothers,
The Sisters.
the Sisters, a lot of stuff on Delphi. Man, like a lot of
Really, we just love like the really raw sound of kids jamming out in their garage like back in the day. Cause,
we call them barrio ballads.
yeah, barrio ballads, stuff
Barrio
that comes out
sound.
the barrio.
Because there's a lot of different types of oldies, you know, but the songs that were recorded by, you know, Chicanos, it has that barrio sound, and that's what we love. It may not be the most...
The I can't afford the good microphone.
Yes.
Exactly.
That I have to record in
Rosie
my
and
mom's.
Ron.
We record everything with
Restroom.
one microphone. We record from our little garage studio that we set up.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. It's like some of the best music comes out. When we talk about El Vuh, some of the whole album, I think, got recorded in our shower in
Nice,
Santa
that's
Cruz.
perfect.
There you go, make it
That's a
into an
good
echo
idea.
chamber.
We had a 1-week-old in the background. We're like, yeah, we could do this.
That's cool.
That's what I mean. It's like that. I guess this is the salt and pepper of making a project that people continue to listen to, because you know that you didn't have the luxury of maybe the experience you had with Snoop Dogg. I'm sure that his studio was nice and had
Man, it's a spaceship.
cold sodas in the refrigerator.
It's a spaceship. Like, I walked in there, and it was all blue, and like I thought I was on a different planet. Like,
No,
I
it's
was
like,
it looks
it
like a
looks
You
spaceship.
just
are,
like
you are, mijo, you were.
And I think I was a little bit because of the smoke in the air. You know, I got a little, you know.
yeah. That's cool. And I'm glad that you're around people that know how to bring out that sound. And that's what I mean, because you could get put with a producer that doesn't have no idea about what an oldie is. He just knows how to record songs.
Yeah,
right.
we have stories about that.
Right. I'm sure you have your experiences with that, because not everybody knows all musics. But when you get somebody specifically, you know, specializing in that, then that's where the magic starts to happen, you know, because I know when I did the song with Rocco, I saw a different way of recording. He was just very aggressive, hearing the beat, writing, and like you're just looking at this individual and his process. And when you have somebody, who did you mention that was a producer? That was like
Joy Quinones.
yeah. When you have somebody like that, he already knows the anxiety you're feeling.
Yeah.
He knows he doesn't want to put you in a studio that you're going to be overwhelmed in, where you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm wasting time. I can't get the note.
No,
And
he was real good.
Yeah, it was beautiful. being
As
in the
soon as
studio
I
with
started
him.
getting a little nervous to sing, because I'm kind of shy, he turned down the lights and set the mood, and I was like, all right, cool. And he was like,
That
guys,
matters.
leave the room. He had other people leave so I could sing
And
like,
it was
comfortably.
it was also beautiful just being around, you know, your own people too. You know, it was beautiful. Like everyone there is like either Chicano or something, you know. But it was beautiful because we've been to studios where like you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel at home. But these guys, you know, it was beautiful being there and seeing everyone doing their like all their talent. It was amazing. It's just I look up to them a lot, and
Yeah.
we want to do our own stuff too, like recording wise, have our own studio. Like that's our goals.
well, that's cool that
Those-
you got embraced by the previous generations. You know, the ones that said we got to help these guys out, because you know it wasn't always like that. We come from, like I said, children that were orphaned, and so we fight a lot, and we sometimes don't care. But once we start to get into a place where you have that kind of connection with individuals who maybe did it before you and are trying to mentor you in some way, or
Our age. That's the cool part about it.
oh damn, I'm totally
No,
ignorant to this.
everybody's our age. It's really magical.
I see.
This next generation, Ruben, I'm telling you.
We had to
it's
pick up the
something
pieces.
else.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, for sure.
It wasn't in our time. It was like we were two in a race to be the first one, right? Oh, the first one, instead of working together, and that's been the repercussion of taking parents out of the home. Even if they're there, sometimes they're out of the home because they have to work a lot, or they're going through whatever they're going through. So I like one of the lines that Lemon from Quinto Sol had wrote. And he had wrote to the sense that I have a mom and dad, but they're being cloned to do something I'm totally against. You know what I mean? The philosophy, maybe the church, maybe overworking and not having a life. And, you know, like the working class parents that you talk about from the Chicano. I haven't met any of those older people or generation that said that they didn't work a minimum of 15 hours a day. Okay, so if you're working 15 hours a day, where's the time for you, one, and for your children, two? You love them, you care about them. And that's the decision that I had to make, because I was a workaholic myself, but I went, no way, it's gonna end with me. It has to end with me. I have to know and look into the children's eyes, my own children, and then them know who I am. Like if you were to bring Charlotte or any of my kids and ask them who I am, they, oh yeah, my dad makes music, my dad, we have a connection.
Our 20-year-old actually learned the Angel Baby song through the guitar. He's a great musician and a great songwriter and a little bit of everything. He loves oldies, actually. So it's some great inspiration. Yeah.
So I guess my point is that, you know, you're getting embraced by the, you know, whoever it is that's guiding you through this journey, and there's some sort of a community that's starting to form. And that's this podcast, and obviously being a part of your music, because it's no longer just hip hop or oldies or rock or whatever it is. That we're a whole mass of people who have different customs, different ways of dressing, different ways of talking. I mean, we just talked to Mike Bone, who was from like Oklahoma, who sounded like they were from Oakland, who were Christian rappers, who were native. Like, that's what I love about it, though. That's no judgment, man. No judgment. Shout out to Mike Bone, man. Thank you for that interview.
All shapes and sizes. But we're all representing one thing, and
That's
that is
right.
Pachamama, Mother Earth.
There you go.
That's right.
That's our universal
Connection.
Connection is this earth that we stand on, and how she applies to our daily.
That's very important to us. Actually, we plan on the future, like our name's the Lakesiders, but we have a deep connection to water, you know, and we want to promote, you know, the protection of our waters, especially fresh water, because, you know, it's endangered. We want to make that a big part of what we do as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, so you're gonna evolve into another name? Is that what you're saying? Or
Oh, no, just like, you know.
Oh, well, Lakesiders.
Yeah, Lakesiders, you know, I'm an aquatic person. I love fresh water. I love the ocean, just to, you know, promote protecting those waters, you know, and it's wildlife.
Absolutely.
Especially frogs.
You know, a lot of people,
He just threw that in there. He's especially frogs.
a lot of people don't know that there was an Indian tribe. I forgot the name of this tribe. My producer who helped me with my video was working on this project on how they took all the water from the resources of that land to bring it to Los Angeles. I'll remember it, community, the name of this indigenous group that fought for land or water rights.
Or somebody will let us know in chat room right now.
I'm sure they will. But there's always been a struggle for that. And the truth is that it's everywhere. It's in the air. It's in your being. And so that's what I mean when people start to say land back or I want the land back. Well, then what they're saying is I have a deep connection with this land. I understand the purpose of water. I respect the wisdom of air, right? And the power of my own fire, which is really electrical charge or light, right? That's a science of our ancestors. This is the depth of their thinking. is to know that we'll never know, but we can experience and document. And that's who we are. That's what, when you tap in genetically, that's how you communicate. Because we kept telling them that you keep killing us, but we keep coming back. And they didn't understand that. They didn't know what that meant, right? They thought, well, what do you mean you're coming back? You're dead, and I'll kill your son, and I'll kill your daughter, and I'll kill your daughter. And we keep telling them we're going to come back. You can't kill the blood that lives inside of us.
Like that quote, they try to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. That's the resistance of your music. The style, the history of it. It's a really deep music to associate yourself with. That I personally had to just admit that I have a love-hate relationship because comes with a lot of violence for me. Mm-hmm. You know, I just seen people get shot in front of me, that kind of thing. Yeah. In that time where I grew up in the 90s, it was a very violent time. Yeah. But to hear it with Nawa, to hear it with a beautiful melody and intentions that come from pure souls like yourself, old souls like yourself, I can't wait to hear it. Yeah. You know, I can't wait to hear that expression.
Thank you. I mean, a lot of people listen to oldies and immediately think, you know, cholo or gangster. Absolutely. But comes from specifically like the 90s, you know, you lived through that. But I feel also like Richie Valens and all these Chicanas and Chicanos creating music at the time were like normal teenage kids, you know. Their intentions weren't for people to get shot to their music or, you know, it's music of love. And that's what we want to bring back, you know, because it is a music of love, and to change that, you know, so that when people listen to this music, they can feel proud and, you know, slow dance instead of going on a drive-by or something, you know.
Change the perspective a little bit.
Change the perspective, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I mean, nowadays in 2020, it's weird to see that, like, that cholo thing is more funny now. People use it in a comedy thing now, like, I'm Spider from so-and-so, and I do cholo exercise, and la, la, la. They like, it's almost like they took something that back in the day you wouldn't mess with Spider at all because he would take your money and beat you up, probably. Yeah. But I don't want to associate your music with just that. I'm just saying that's a time that I grew up, and that was my experience. But hearing it in 2020, and to hear it and the way you're going to do it is exciting and hopeful, because indigenous people revolve around love. That's right. A deep, deep love, like a mysterious love that's
grandmother's love.
Yeah. Grandmother's love, grandfather's love. When you say grandfather's love, you know what I mean? When a male says grandfather's love, you're breaking, what'd you call it? Interracial, intergenerational trauma. When a male says, my abuelo, I miss him. Because before it would be like, I don't know my dad. He doesn't even talk to me, right? Imagine going through a whole life not talking to your dad, and that's happened. Absolutely. Oh, no.
One of them.
Right. Oh, so you've had that experience.
Yeah, that experience.
See what it's like for us as indigenous people sometimes? It's not a curse, though. It's not.
It's your medicine.
It's your medicine. It's your power.
I understand that.
It's your power to go and manifest love from nothing. That's the power of the universe. To manifest love from nothing. I was lucky enough to have a grandmother for a short time, and then she was gone. And I'm not saying that my mother didn't love me, but there was a lot of trauma, lots of trauma. And that trauma gets in the way of this mysterious love I'm talking about, right? But you guys invoke it with your music, your voice. That's dope.
It's all about love.
Absolutely. Well, what's the most famous thing is the Azteca carrying his dead woman. It's like, no.
Cuauhtémoc, homie. It's Cuauhtémoc.
Right. I never knew the name of that native, but anyways, I understood it. I understood that picture, because when you love somebody,
you understood it. You understood the carrying of
Well, I mean, I understood the how much you could see it in his face, how much he loves this woman, and like she's gone. Right? That's like an oldie.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's like a killer oldie right there.
No,
So
yes,
there you go. I'm proposing the song right there.
There you go.
Can you please write a song about the native holding the woman?
That'll be the album cover.
There we go.
When I was 10, I really bought into that love right there. I wanted to have that kind of love.
Exactly.
I always had those like posters up on the wall growing up.
That's like vintage
oldies
East
classic.
LA.
Oldies collections.
Vintage
Yeah.
East
The cobijas pinned on the wall like a backdrop.
Lowrider oldies.
LA. The calendarios right there at the supermarket. So they all gave that image. And in a weird way, when I was a kid, around 8 or 9, I started just, why is that guy dressed that way? What is that? What, that's the spirits talking to you, the blood starting to, plant those seeds, because like I said, you have to develop this love out of nothing, and I think the most powerful warriors that come during this time of need or whatever, which we call artists, have to be masters at that and not take their life personal, right? Because they weren't cursed. You weren't cursed because you didn't have these things. You were actually strong. And so the Creator put you down here and he goes, cool, I know you can handle it. And that's you guys, your music. Jenny with her birthwork, Armando with his incredible hip-hop blog, and my humble music and poetry.
That's right.
Absolutely. I would love to do a song with you guys. That'd be dope.
Yes.
I'll go deep, man. We'll go thousands of years back,
Itzcalli could bust a flow.
There you go. Oh, she's flowing with Snoop Dogg? Is that the rumor?
Is that the secret? I don't know.
Flow,
You'll have to find
sings,
out.
plays the guitar. She does it all. All right, chat room, you guys. We have a lot of comments on chat room. Butthead 323, we're waiting on that Bobby D concert.
Ooh, yeah, there's talks of us going on tour in 2021, sometime in July.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, let's hope everything goes well.
All right, Ghetto Palm Sounds, will you both ever have a romantica song in Spanish in the future? Queremos una canción romántica.
Yes.
We love
Terrícola
romanticas.
style. Yup.
We did a
So is that a
Terrícolas
yes?
cover.
Yeah, that's a yes.
That's a yes for
sure.
sure. Ghetto Palm Sounds, that B-side from the 45 is fire.
Oh, thank
Lasso.
you. Yeah, we did that Terrícolas cover.
Yeah, the
The
Faltarás
romanticas.
Tú or something.
Yeah.
Si me faltarás tú,
Oh, it's from
everybody's all
Abuelo.
about it.
He loves that type of music.
Mango Hill Records for sure, mad respect, bring awareness, water is life, and
Water
everybody's
is
all
life.
about
Water is life.
water is life, yeah. So you guys have very good live chat feed for sure.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Yeah. I wish I had my social media so I would have brought more my little friends.
It's all good. This isn't into it.
You
The
could
strong
reshare this,
The
reshare
cool thing
this. I
about
could
this
hear Armando
podcast
telling
is
me
like
that.
the success of it is the after, right? Like when people hear it after we do it. This is just a really relaxed environment. I want you guys to be yourself, and it's kind of hard when you're shy and you don't, and you don't really. I know what it's like to be interviewed and not. You know what to say, but then once they ask you that question, you forget. You're like, and you try to bring it right back.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing as a host.
Yeah, we're naturally quiet.
So
Shy.
hopefully I'm trying to bring up. But me as a host, I have to try to bring that quietness out. If not, we're just gonna be looking at the camera. I don't think the chat room will be blazing like this. But I'm glad that your supporters are showing. Obviously, the record label's on, right?
We
Mango
love 'em.
Records
Yeah,
is
we
on.
love
I
'em
heard
all.
that. You guys got a lot of support out there, and that's an amazing accomplishment.
A blessing.
We have the best supporters, man. I don't usually go on the comments, but when I do, they say some beautiful things. It makes me want to cry sometimes. I love y'all.
Nice.
He's all crying.
Keep the comments coming
It's
because
okay.
they're inspirational.
Again, we're breaking that
Oh, yeah.
intergenerational trauma. Our men are. That's a whole nother podcast right there.
There's some weird people too, though.
Oh man, there's always somebody who has a unique
Talking
style.
about-
The balance of life. It's okay.
Hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos. Huh? Is hot Cheetos a big thing in your crowd?
Growing up in Boyle Heights, yeah.
Chicanas in general.
The tour sponsored by Hot Cheetos
By
and
Hot
Tahis.
Cheetos.
That was made by a brown man, though. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who
like a
else?
Janitor.
Who else is gonna be on the tour? What tour were you talking about?
So the talk it's called Let's Groove Together. It's gonna be hosted by Bobby D
Okay.
and Snoop Dogg.
Oh, Snoop Dogg's
Uncle
involved
Snoop's
again.
Army, yeah.
Oh, nice.
You're
So
riding
he's
the
really
wing.
getting.
You're riding underneath his wings. Let's go.
That's cool, man. When you
Enjoy
have
the ride.
Yeah, it's
Enjoy
really
the
cool.
ride.
he's going to open a lot of doors for you, and hopefully you can stay grounded in the sense that, you know, when you get to those steps or stages, or just trust yourself, you know, and continue to live your life in a good way, and no one should to distract that, because sometimes success coming real quickly, you know, can confuse people and stuff like that. And hopefully, and look at community, they're here on LA Natives, they're about to be big, and look at how humble they are. So don't ever forget how humble and shy they are. Look at them.
I think our cultura balances us out that
Yeah.
way,
That's for sure.
right? You know,
Yeah.
I think you guys are off to a good step, and you know, you guys definitely have a good grounding foundation behind you guys. You know, and just don't forget that whenever you guys feel lost and stuff, remember who you guys are representing.
Yeah,
You know,
we'll never do something that we don't feel comfortable with. You know, that makes
Doesn't
it,
align
that
with
changes
us.
us or doesn't align with us ever. Like I said, we don't really care too much about fame and fortune,
Yeah,
that type of stuff. It's more about what we love to do.
Yeah, I mean those are always good morals to have, and they just sometimes come with repercussions. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so be wise about it.
Yeah.
You know, and know that, you know, you're young and these opportunities come quick, and just make the decision that feels good.
Exactly.
And know that you're not responsible. No one group, no one speaker, no one organization is responsible for curing 500 years of genocidal acts on indigenous people. That's never going to happen. So continue to live your life. If you have a good opportunity and you feel like it's not going to compromise anything, some people may not like it. That's what we dealt with a lot in the early 90s when we started
Yes.
speaking about indigenous
yes.
issues. It's like, oh, look, he's going to go do this, and
He's sold out, and he's gonna get out of the
all that
hood,
stuff.
and-
Do not listen to that stuff. Do what's right for you and your family and your career, and
and
know
for your
that.
corazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, not always.
We're just excited to like expand our platform so we can help in more like effective ways, like fund certain organizations or indigenous communities that need the help.
And that feels
Wonderful.
genuine. And that feels genuine. That's all you have to do is contribute. We all got to contribute. That's it. When we go to Sweat Lodge, I bring a watermelon, and so brings a pozole. Everybody brings something. And that's the biggest strength that we have as indigenous people, is that we have the ability to call a meeting, have a family cook, whatever it is, and everybody will be responsible for bringing something. And as long as we do that through our art, we inspire those that have not been born yet or are still developing. And when we reach those plateaus of self-awareness, pride, not ego, pride, and understanding and connection, then that's when things change innately. There's no need to say, we need the land back. If you don't know how to hunt on the land, there's no need to say, we want the land back. And we don't know how to search for water. What are we doing to make those connections? Because I know for sure when the colonizer came and tried to take us and incarcerate us or force us to live a life, there's people that ran away. And they needed to know that. They needed to have that connection with the earth. They needed to know how to find water. They needed to know when not to eat and meditate and just breathe. They needed to know how to connect with the fire by waking up at 6 a.m. and being there when it comes sundown for 4 days. Those are the connections that bring the land back. No white man's going to give you your land back. You get your land back by connecting to it and connecting to the message. Right? So that's cool that you're going to do that with your music. We're totally proud of you as a community. It's very obvious on our chat. You have a lot of supporters and you're doing good.
To everyone, honestly.
Anything else on there?
El Super Javi 76 put what's up 0.
What's up, Javi? Yeah, man. Now I'm getting lost for words here. What do you think? What should we talk about now?
Let's talk about something.
Any surprises? Anything? Other than, well, we already covered the tour. We covered your Snoop Dogg.
Do you guys personally know Butthead 323? Do you know who that is? It's all about the frogs. No, he's all about the frogs.
Something about the frogs? What's up with the frogs?
Oh, we could tell them that story.
Do you have a pet frog?
Yeah,
Do you do combo? Or you know what combo is, right?
I haven't done it yet.
Okay, but you know what it is,
Yeah,
right?
we know what it is.
It involves a frog.
Yeah, people.
For the community.
People ask about where the
Frogs.
name Lakesiders comes from, or what's the deal with the frogs. You want me to tell them the story?
What's the frog thing?
Well, okay, so I used to live in Lake Elsinore, this small town, and at my house there was like always frogs like jumping all over the place. And I went to Lakeside High School, right? So that's where the name the Lakesiders comes from. And I just saw like the frog as like the, like a mascot.
Oh, okay.
So the frogs are everywhere.
Is that your guys' logo? No.
Yeah, yeah.
It is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like also we just see the frog as a bridge between water and earth. It's
That's
a
dope.
sacred symbol to us as
Amphibia.
well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Still
amphibians in general are that bridge between water and earth.
And that's why in the Mexica calendar, Cipatli, Setpatli, right? Setpatli, the first one that came out of water into land.
Exactly.
Right? That's that connection, that reptilian connection, or not reptiles like the conspiracy theory reptilian, but just in the evolution of our animal kingdom and animal life. That's dope. But yeah, Sepatli is like, or Cipatli, or means one, the one that came out of the water into the land. So that's cool. The frog is the logo.
The bridge between land and water.
Bridge between land and
Whole
water.
life.
Pretty deep. I can't, you're telling me all these things, I just cannot picture oldies, and I just can't wait to hear the songs now. Because, that's not traditionally what oldies are really about. Like, it's all about, like, love stories and stuff like that. But now these topics are, I'm interested to see how you're interweaving them into what you're doing. And to get very famous people to support you. God, Snoop Dogg is, like, the biggest in Los Angeles,
He's a legend.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that Parachute was actually a song about sobriety, not just an ordinary love song. I
I
it
was
is
just about to ask that.
to
Like,
other
what?
people, whatever it resonates with them.
Yeah, Parachute's actually the name of my turtle.
What's the name of his turtle?
Shall we tell them the story?
Yeah, of course. I'm pretty sure your fan base wants to hear where the inspiration
They
Parachute
probably
came
already
from.
know already, but
Everybody's all like,
For
it's
those
a
who
Mino
don't
song de
know.
amor, and it's all about a frog. And
It's about a turtle.
people probably think we're weird now.
That's okay.
It's okay. No judgment.
But years back, I had a really bad. I struggled heavily with alcohol. I was an alcoholic, and at a young age too. But when I met Itzcalli, she helped me through that, and she got me a pet turtle, which I named Parachute. As it was like a symbol for sobriety. As long as you have this turtle, you're gonna be sober, take care of him, you're gonna be okay. And I did see Parachute as that, and it did help me, and I was sober. And we flew out to New York to record the song. And things, we were supposed to record a song, but things weren't going the right way. And I was just, at this point, I wasn't having it because my parents had called me and told me that Parachute had died. So I kind of took it deeply. I was like, man, so I just had to be by myself. So I go to this park by myself, and there's a bar right across the street, and I'm just thinking, man, should I just take a drink? I really don't want to be here right now. And I just sat there and staring at the sky. And I didn't have a phone at the time, I didn't have anything, so I don't know how Itzcalli found me, but I was thinking of music in my head, thinking of a melody. And I thought of a pretty good melody, and I was like, I have to go back to the studio. Maybe this could work out, And then like Itzcalli comes out of nowhere and she finds me because we have like this connection where like I could be miles away, but she like beep 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 and like she'll find me. But yeah, and then I went back to the studio and the producer, they already know what happened. They're like, hey, why don't we write a song about like your turtle and like everything that's happening? And we wrote the song on the spot, and Itzcalli was there singing. He was on the piano, and the song was just made there and then.
Just came together like in half a day.
Yeah, and the song was about, staying sober and, that story. That's the story of sobriety. So it has that sobriety message into it.
Wow, like this, the story of loving yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Loving yourself enough to take a pause on something that's hurting you.
Yeah.
That's a good story. Thank you for sharing that one, because I know a lot of people in the LA Natives community who listen to this podcast struggle with that. I know Jag is a very devoted person to sobriety.
Yeah.
And that's inspiring. Everybody deals with alcohol. That's what they used. And what better? That's what I kind of remember being a kid, and then even just looking at the stories, because I do look at history, and you look at the teenagers, and they're just kind of wanting to numb themselves with whatever tools are given. So to take a stand like you and Jag do, and do that is commendable, and then put it into your music, because that must have been so sad to have your symbol of, achievement, right? Because I'm sure you stayed sober for a very long time.
Yeah.
And to see that, but that's what I love about the creator. A lot of people go like, "Oh, wow, look at how sad and tragic," but you're there. You're put in that position to experience, understand, and not judge. Because life is not the enemy. It's your perception of life. And then you become your own enemy. Right? You start drinking, you start doing whatever. And then the creator goes, okay, you're doing good. Now let's take this from you. Let's see if he could keep it up.
That's right.
Let's see if he learned his medicines.
That's indigenous philosophy. That's indigenous thought. Taking the challenge without it being personal.
Exactly.
And look at what came out of it.
Yeah, I feel like the creator,
biggest song ever, right? I think.
Ever.
I mean, so
Yet.
I feel like the creator will send you the same lesson more than once. So, I always feel that way, and you have to know to not fall back to the same, things you're making mistakes on.
Overcoming your own mistake, and that's what I mean. Like when you defeat your own self, that's what they call it in our understanding. Is that to defeat your own self. It's to be humble to the experience that's happening outside of you. In other words, even if an individual's upset, he's upset for his reasons, and they project that onto you. It's the same kind of oppressive thoughts that we grew up with, being a part of a genocided culture, or a culture that's been imposed with genocide, right? You have to take a stand and really, really, really think about this road. And that's cool that you guys do it in that way. And don't be afraid to go through those type of things, because that's what inspires the art, right? That deep, confusing, almost leading you to break your vow, right? Unless you did, or maybe you did, and that's okay. That's what I'm trying to say. It's okay to make these mistakes, but dust yourself off. And don't ignore that you made a mistake. You made a mistake. That's why in the Five Sons story, it's an animated story. You can find it on YouTube.
I love that video.
Right? I never seen one place where it was all tranquil and beautiful and no one made mistakes and no one. It was an obstacle course that was trying to take your life in every turn. So you must be aware and learn from those mistakes. And that was a beautiful story, brother, and how you apply it to your life. And hopefully that inspires many others out there that are struggling with that kind of pain.
Yeah, if there's anyone out there that is struggling, I mean, if you do relapse, if you do make a mistake, that doesn't stop you from, that doesn't negate like all your progress that you have already made, you know? Just keep going. Just keep going. Like people feel like if they make one mistake, then it's done, you know, everything's over. Like they can't keep continuing that battle. But no, that's part of the battle. That's part of the battle.
It takes a lot to come out of the dysfunction because the dysfunction feels so comfortable sometimes. You know, that's what the Buddhists call addicted to suffering.
That's very true, especially in our communities. Definitely.
Alcohol is like, you know, the number one drug that, you know, the colonizers put into our own communities. You can find that in every liquor store, yet you can find our own ancestral superfoods in the own liquor stores, chia seeds, amaranto, you know. But you can, spirulina, exacto. So being aware of that is very important. Our community suffers a lot from alcoholism.
And that's the interesting part of it, is that the more you eat the ancestral foods, the spirulina, the amaranto, the maca, the chia, all those things, the more you drink, the more you don't even want alcohol.
Literally.
You just like don't even want it.
I did a whole research on nutrition. I was taking care of, again, I do a little bit of birth world. Women's health is my main topic, but nutrition is just such a big topic for me. And I was taking care of a few clients that were suffering from alcoholism. And I was able to reverse a little bit of that addiction just through nutrition. Yeah. You know, there's a major nutrition gap when we are working with alcoholism issues, you know? So just feeding the body certain foods that the body is lacking in was possibly the longest that individual ever went without drinking. Wow. And he went, I think, 8 months without drinking.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. I strongly recommend, like, if you want a drink that makes you feel good, yerba mate, really good.
That substitutes the same feeling.
It makes you feel good. It'll put a smile on your face. I mean, it's just it's not. It doesn't have no alcohol or anything. It's just a little caffeine. But you know, if you want to drink something, drink yerba mate.
Ruben's on that every day.
And if you can, the traditional way is much better.
Yeah. The korg, yes. Yeah. Traditionally in the korg is always the best way.
Yeah, I got my own little setup.
I remember we were recording Evolution.
We'll start drinking it next week. We'll bring our korgs and all our traditional stuff for yerba mate. We're big on that.
Yeah.
I remember recording Evolution, and we were in the studio, and we were in there like late. You know, I don't know why we record so late, and it's not comfortable, and you're kind of stay awake. But I remember my buddy bringing the gourd, and then he's all, "I'm all, what are we drinking?" And he's all, "Oh, it's yerba mate." I go, okay, cool, but, you know, I have never really drank it before. He's all, don't worry, dude, you can go to sleep right after. Don't worry. It's like, cool. All right, cool. Start drinking it. It's bitter. Yeah. And I was just like, boom. We were like recording, and it's like, we were just talking. I was
get work done.
It was really, really strong. And then I wake up, it's like the lights out in the morning, the crack of dawn. I'm all like, but I liked it. And I guess, yeah, yerba mate. That's the best way. It's natural, and you get a good sensation. And it's from, you know, it's traditionally from, I think, Argentina or something like that.
Yeah, lots of minerals too, vitamins.
Yeah. And I think that's what gives energy. So when you start to address your body with using these foods like chlorophyll, spirulina, maca, chia, cacao, even hemp as a protein, you know, because we're plant-based. We're pretty much a plant-based family. It took a while, but it took a lot of nutrition to get us there. And when you add that nutrition, it will make a lot easier. It will make it a lot easier for you to leave things that are harming yourself, like alcohol and stuff like that. So we'll get more into depth in future podcasts about nutrition, and you can always follow us at the Necalli Superfoods IG page. And Jenny will type that on the chat when she has a chance. But yeah, it's almost that time. I guess I'm getting my producer to tell me that
we're about 10 minutes.
Got 10 more minutes to talk to the Lakesiders.
10 minutes? What do we talk about in 10 minutes?
We got chat room talk. Okay, let's do chat room talk. Sup fam, we are running on Indigenous time and ran late to the show. Don't worry, you can always catch our show as a replay through all our major networks. Once our famous producer Armando gets everything going, and then it'll be on all our feeds.
Spotify.
And then we
And you
also
can always
got-
catch
yeah,
it
you
on
can-
Twitch, right, as a replay as well.
Mitakeo Yasin to you guys all.
Well, it was really amazing having you
I'm all like
guys.
hint, hint, the last 10 minutes. You just want to sing anything.
It was really cool.
Feel inspired.
It was really cool to have you guys come in studio, because in studio interviews are a little bit funner, and you're not guessing and cutting people off. And even though that happens sometimes here, we're still growing. So please, thank you so much, all our community of LA natives. Please follow our pages at LA Natives on IG, our Twitch /LA Natives, and our YouTube channel. Subscribe. We're working really hard on getting some merchandise done. We're working on the
Oh, what are we giving away today?
approving. Oh, are we gonna give something away?
Are we doing a T-shirt? Are we doing the?
Oh yeah, we got to give that away too.
Oh, is it the T-shirt? Want to do the T-shirt today?
How are we gonna do that? Do we have emails? Okay. Okay, so we want our fans to subscribe to our website, and we're gonna show you the shirt, and we'll do the raffle next week, right? Okay, so you're gonna get if you could pull it up, push it up. Okay. Make America Indigenous Again. Shout out to Richie, 1492, Indigenous 1492. And that is our next gift here. So please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already to our website, where all of our info gets disseminated and our next guests get introduced. And we keep it close like a family does, so that we can all become and reach that goal that we always dreamed of, which is a community that recognizes each other, respects each other, loves each other, does not judge each other. And that's still possible. They can't take everything from us. They can't take our spirit. They can't take our intention. That comes with, that intention was planted thousands of years ago. Our abuelos would not have made pyramids to remind us of that. That was a very, very difficult task to do, but they did it because they believed in it, and they believed in their art. And we believe in your art, Lakesiders. Thank you so much for coming down and sharing.
Kamati for having us.
Sharing time and your story and your intimacy, brother. Like, continue on your journey of healing, and know that you have a brother in me and in this community and in that community. I mean, it's evident. Look at the chat room.
Thank you all. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart.
No worries, man. We'll be back when you're. I guess you'll be back when you release your song and you have your.
Yeah, let us know anytime.
We love to
private driver drop you off. No, just kidding.
And I'll bring the guitar too for the chat.
Oh, see, so here we go.
Yeah.
Confirmed. He's gonna bring the guitar
I'll
next
bring
time.
it.
And he's gonna sing.
I don't know about that. Well, maybe just a little bit.
We'll see. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. You guys are great artists, and keep doing what you're doing, Lakesiders. Thank you for joining our LA Natives community, and keep going, and know that you got a familia here. You want to say anything last, JB?
Lasokamat Leo Mateo to all our relations, past, present, and future.
So just remember that we're one community, and we struggled for a very, very long time.
But we are here.
But we are here. We are strong. And those abuelos that came before us had a very strong intention for those that are living right now. And in this time, during this specific moment, it's community that will see us through. Community and the love that Lakesiders write about. That mysterious, deep love that we all think they're talking about a girl, but it's really about a turtle.
No, it's really about self-love. actually.
Next time it'll be a frog.
And a frog. There's frogs involved too, so.
A lot of metaphors behind your music.
Man, you guys are talented individuals. Thank you very much for being on our show.
We're honored. Lasokamati.
Oho,
Lasokamatli.
Lasokamatli. We'll
Love
see
you
you
guys out
next
there.
Sunday.
Thank you.
Lasokamatli.